Hi everyone, I'm Fatimah Benta Gimse, a screenwriter and producer, and you're listening to Sceneful Sundays.
Did Nigeria break your spirit?
Listen, sometimes not that reliable, but it's the voice of the people sometimes. You know you're a good doctor if people don't keep dying.
A podcast that highlights storytellers and filmmakers in Nollywood.
Because I don't want anybody to drag me if you see me doing another Lolaro. Just now I was broke.
I go to audition for a project and it's full of these guys from Big Brother. I'm like, I went to drama school now. I have masters in acting now.
Do you have 1 million followers?
Here we talk about everything from career ups and downs to personal gist and all the juicy things that go into the world of storytelling as we know it. Hi guys, welcome to Sceneful Sundays. I'm Fatimah and I have Nengi with me. Hi,
Hello.
Nengi.
Hi. Nice to be here. Thank you so much, Fatimah, for this platform.
How are you doing today? How are you doing?
I'm good, though. I'm good. Lagos definitely showed me my fair share of shege this morning, but, we're here. I'm in one piece, and I'm excited. How are you?
I think I'm fine. I'm all right.
Okay. That's good. That's good to hear.
So, can I ask, how's your year going? How's 2021 going for you?
Wow. I haven't even had the chance to just pause and sort of review. So I would be doing that right here as I speak.
You're welcome to. Please do it.
I have not. And the reason, probably because obviously everybody knows how heavy 2020 was. And when you ask me that and I think about my life, I'm thinking, okay, are you asking me or are you talking in terms of my career and stuff? Because those are two completely different things. And I'll answer for both. Is that okay?
I think you should answer the one you feel more comfortable
with. Yeah. So for 2021, as far as my career, I think that it's been amazing so far. Yeah, it's surprisingly amazing. And I think that it's probably all of the hard work and suffering that is now yielding.
Can you expand when you say surprisingly, as if you didn't see it coming?
Yeah, no. It's not like I haven't seen it. So here's the thing, if there was any form of success to be had in my career, it's not something that I expected now. Oh. I don't know why.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know, because, sometimes when we think about success, even the way people even talk about acting, you're chasing your dreams. It's there's some lofty thing that you were trying to attain, right, while you were here. And if there's anything good happening now, it's not that it's not good enough. It's just sometimes you tend to not see because you have greater goals, So for me, when I say surprisingly, it's not because I'm surprised that it's not going well. It's because I haven't actually paused to just take, like I said, I'll be doing the reflection here. And as I'm thinking about my career so far, I realize that there's also a lot to be grateful for right now. And there's a lot of success to celebrate right now.
Yeah.
In 2020 personally wasn't a great year for me because I was one of those people who took the pandemic very badly.
Were you here?
I was not okay. Yes, I was here. I was not okay. And that's one of the reasons why I was upset too, because I could have been chilling with my mom and dad in Chicago or my brother and sister in Canada or something. But I had literally just come back from a trip.
Let's quickly add that she's Canadian, guys.
Yeah. You guys,
she's the gold we're chasing.
It's a lie. It's a lie. Let me tell you, I have a Nigerian passport. First of all, let me put it out there. So don't get it twisted. Some of us, we actually prefer, not prefer, but I wanted to be here in Nigeria.
I was going to ask that, but let me just ask you now. Why?
Why do I want to be in Nigeria? For me, it's been very important to tell stories that are very unique to the Nigerian experience, right? In Canada, while I worked there as an actor, I would typically get cast for roles. In fact, not even African American roles, because that's what they refer to Black people, even though you live in Canada.
Yeah.
Right. They would typically cast me for more so Caribbean roles.
Why?
Or even South
Where
African
did that come
roles.
from?
I don't know. I think it's a thing to do with my features. I have prominent forehead, which I love, by the way. So if you're dragging me with that, you're really on your own. But I really like my features. So I think that is probably why. Because I don't know, for some reason, to a lot of casting directors in Toronto and in the agency that I was with, I just never read African. And I think it might be something, and I mean aesthetically. And I think it might be something to do with like either the fact that I'm fairly light skinned, probably lighter than like even some.
So they're not used to fair skinned Africans.
Yeah, they're not used to fair skinned Africans. So even when I would go and audition for roles that would be like African, like I would have the Niger accent, right? But then they're like,
you're not African.
Yeah, you're not.
No,
You're still
you're
not. So, and I celebrate that and I mourn that at the same time because on one hand, it just means that like a lot of darker skinned actors are being represented in Hollywood and, in all the woods, right? But then where does that leave people like me, right? Where's work? How am I going to get a job? And I think that that's probably one of the things that also motivated me to come back to Nigeria because, I'm an actor working, I had a side job because, I needed to pay the bills while I was in Canada. But at the same time, I wasn't getting cast as often as I would like and in the roles that I would like, right? So as far as the business, where is it now hot to be light-skinned
and fine?
So where is it hot to look like me right now? Where will I get work? Great. Like Nigeria, I'm not gonna lie, I even considered Australia at the time because
why?
I just wanted to work.
Of all places.
Honestly, I just wanted to work and I wasn't getting enough. And it's not because I wasn't talented enough, right?
Yeah.
Because as far as like, I mean, if I were to use like, just the usual checkpoints now, I graduated with a really good degree. In fact, I have 3.
Do you want to tell us that degree?
Which one? My performance?
3 of them. Everything. Just talk.
And so thankfully, and this is obviously like opportunity because in Canada, you're allowed to study more than one, right? So I was lucky enough to get one in information technology, communications and culture at the University of Toronto. And while I was doing that, I also got like a thing in digital communication at Sheridan College. So when I was done, then I went back to school for acting and performance arts. So when I was, when I finished that degree, I came out probably top 5 of my class.
Yeah, I saw your picture.
Yeah.
Were you valedictorian or something?
No, I wasn't a valedictorian, but I did get an award as an African Global Scholar.
Awesome.
So that was really awesome. And when I was done, the agency at the time in Toronto, which is called The Characters, they're probably the biggest and the oldest. If not, someone check that. don't take my word for it. But Larry Goldhar at the time, he had come to see our final play, which thankfully in the group that I was in, I had written it with the people in it. And they had cast me as well as an African woman. So they saw the play, they really liked me, and then they invited me to come and audition. And that's when I started working in Toronto as an actress. But like I said, the jobs I was getting, they were few and far between. And like it's not because I felt like I wasn't talented enough. I just felt that there just weren't any roles that kind of like...
Or for you.
Yeah, for me, right? So... That's plus the fact that, again, like I said, I'm very curious about Nigerian stories. Like, there was a movie even about, like, Amina, I think.
Queen Amina?
I think we saw...
Several,
we
series
saw...
and movies.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to stories like that. Like, I'm looking forward to, like, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy, like, a lot of the Africa Magic originals that are out
That's
there.
actually funny because now you're in like a very African story.
Very African story. So for me, these are the things. And at some point, I would really like to learn how to speak Hausa. I would like to learn how to speak Yoruba. I would like to learn how to speak, Igbo. I can't even speak my, traditional language, which, is a sad thing to me.
Where? Tell us.
So I'm from Okrika. And if you heard that and thought secondhand, don't let me show you my waka hands.
What do you mean to make that rhyme?
It's a place. I'm from Okrika. It's a place, and we speak Okrika, and it's in River State. Is it River? Yeah, River State. Yeah. So I'm from the southernmost part of Nigeria. I know a lot of people don't know it exists, and thank God for Nengi that went to Big Brother, because before her, when I would say my name was Nengi, a lot of Nigerians
didn't know that name.
Nigerians, yeah, but a lot of Lagosians didn't know that Nengi was a Nigerian name. Yeah, it was strange to me because I know the name is fairly common in the south, but then when you come here, people are just like, where is that from? But thanks to her, now I don't have to.
Nengi.
I don't have to prove I'm Nigerian because of my name and now my features.
But your last name is actually very not Nigerian sounding, according to them. Any name that is
Again,
not
yeah.
like Wazobia is suddenly not. I get that a lot too.
Adoki is also it's a fairly popular name in the South. So when I come to, Lagos and I say my name, my first and last name, people are just like, how?
Where are you from?
It's so sad. Sometimes I wish I had a very like clearly like Nigerian name. Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is Nigerian, but I mean the type that you would just know. For instance, if I said my name was Tolu now, you would know.
But I think it works for you because when you search your name, you're the only person that'll come up for now.
Am I now?
For now.
If you add my last name, yes. But if you say Nengi, you now see
course.
Nengi Rebecca Hampson.
We know. We know. We don't touch that territory because we can't even fight that war. But your full name, when you put your
my full name is my full. It's just me.
Exactly.
Yes, you're right.
So
and that's what I
something.
enjoy about it. And I think, I mean, in life, nothing is ever really black and white. Like, I enjoy my name, and at the same time, sometimes I'm like, I know it's not immediately Nigerian, but don't worry, they'll get to know.
And they're slowly starting to know.
Yeah, if you don't know, go and Google Nengi Adoki right now. Right now.
So when you moved here to like join Nollywood, did you go straight to acting? Because I know you worked in tech.
Yes.
So was that your first stop?
Please, before I answer this question, I have to put a disclaimer. If you're trying to enter Nollywood, I am coming from the
we need to talk about that.
Please do not come and enter just like that. Because trust me, even me that didn't do that, I still drank Gary.
Yeah.
I still entered Yellow Bus everywhere.
So please see now, talk about that. Because a lot of people don't know that thing. They just think, oh, you wake up with a dream, or enter just like that.
Let's talk about that. So for me, when I first moved back, or when I decided to move back, all of that happened in like a 2-week period. I remember I was a reservationist at a pretty upscale like restaurant. And that was my part-time.
A reservationist takes reservations for like food.
Yeah, for food. Basically like a hostess, right?
Oh,
but
okay.
like a more... Because it was really upscale, we were dealing with a lot of like there was a time where we served like all of the Raptors, the Lakers came to eat there.
Oh my gosh.
The cast of American Pie. I'm working, and next thing you know, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, like they walk into the restaurant, and I'm just like, So this is not just, come and eat. Nah, these are people who are like, I would like my sparkling water first.
Oh.
Yeah, and please make sure you bring it when the other guests arrive.
To show off or what?
Yeah, or it's not even, they just have these like quirks, right? And if you don't do it as they say, that's the difference between you getting that $20,000 like credit that they put on the yeah, because some of them would like just literally pay like huge amounts of money so that whenever they came, they just ate. So they had a tab. So for you doing it, you had to give me one sec. You had to make sure you got all of those things right, because then they just wouldn't come back. And then only for you to find out that it's because maybe you put their fork on the wrong side of I don't know. But I'm just saying the pressure was high.
That's upscale. Like
it's upscale.
I'm talking
and
there's
like,
this one.
Like $300 steaks.
No comments.
That's what I'm talking about. So that was my part-time gig. And, while, I was doing a lot of creative stuff as well. Like I was involved in like the theater. I was involved in all of this stuff, right? But when I was moving and I was considering where to move to, I just placed a bunch of calls because, at the end of the day, I had friends who were with me in Canada. And
Sorry. What made you think about Australia?
I'm pretty adventurous. It's like how I landed in Cuba for no reason. I'm just curious.
I was also going to bring that up about
person.
Australia, because I'm like, do they have like... 'Cause I don't think to be honest, I don't think I've sat down to watch an Australian show to start asking if they have black people in their shows.
No, I hadn't. But, I was asking around with like casting directors at the time. And it was that same sort of wave where like, people were now casting a lot of black shows, right? So if I wasn't getting in on
the Wakanda
Hollywood,
phase.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get.
Hey, listen, Australia, Nigeria, anywhere, to me, it didn't matter. Like, I just wanted to do great work, right?
Fair.
So, so at the time when I was in Canada, I was like, okay, let's see, And also Nigeria, to me, it was a good opportunity to really come back and reconnect, because I hadn't lived in Nigeria as an adult. I mean, I was born in Port Harcourt, yeah. But I left, and a lot of my reference points is still very Nigerian in terms of how I exist in the world. But I hadn't been here in my own right as a full-grown adult I'd visited.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a good opportunity. And also, I thought from where I was in Toronto, it just felt like Nollywood was going through like a sort of renaissance, if I
What
would
year
say.
was this?
This was the tail end of 2015.
Oh, okay, that was peak.
Yeah, that was peak like Nollywood like phase. But even then, when I did all the research and asked questions, which honestly is a joke compared to what I've come here and seen.
Anyway,
a joke. But you had to do the research. So it was just clear to me, for instance, I was even looking for, like I said, I had representation. And how it works in Toronto is you have an agency, then big production houses say we're looking for these characters. They send it to the agents. If you fit in as part of the roster, they will send you to the auditions. It's very rare that you see Instagram
Which
poster
agency in Nigeria?
for Black Panther that you should come and audition, which is how we do it here.
Yeah.
And it's not to say once, but again, each industry knows what they need. And right now we're still at this stage.
And
so
everybody has different systems that work for them.
Exactly. So for me, I literally couldn't find, I remember Googling and trying to find an agent to maybe...
Where?
I was trying to find an agent to send my headshots to and like all of these things like, please, I want to work.
Just post it on
I do
Instagram,
not
use a
see
hashtag.
I did, I swear. But although I have to shout out is it Agency 106? I think it was, I don't know if it's Isioma or Isioma. I hope I'm saying that right. She had an agency. I saw that and I actually reached out to her, right? So there were a bunch of people I reached out to if they had anything, but I just noticed that, man, sounds like, you know what? There's not a lot of information here. This is something that you kind of have to just go and check out.
You have to experience it yourself.
But if I wasn't coming back here with like a job, because even if I wanted to do Sugar Baby,
You
there's
still need
still research.
Foundation is necessary.
So I had to really just like a level. I just say, Nengi, you know what? Because I'd even talked to my parents and they were a little worried. They didn't want me to move back, especially because they don't, even when they're around, they don't stay in Lagos. Like they stay in Port Harcourt,
okay,
right? So literally I'd never lived in Lagos in my life.
It's not your first time coming to Lagos?
Yes. Not coming. I mean, to pass through, to travel out, yes, but not to stay and to know where anything is. So that would be my first time. So I was just like, okay, how can we do this so that we're not suffering too much? Because now my parents are like, don't go. If you go, it's your pocket. So literally, it has been my pocket ever since. So please, if you're a producer.
Like, were they supportive or I don't know how to phrase
We'll come
the
to that.
question.
Let me just give this disclaimer. If you're a producer listening to this, you have now learned that I'm not a sugar baby. Although shout out to all of them. And you also learned that I'm taking care of myself. So please, when I give you my fee,
you need to
just know
understand.
that I have rent. I have rent to pay and all of these things, So, but your question was whether or not I
went straight to acting.
I went straight into acting. So no, I didn't go straight into acting. I started off with the tech industry. So when I placed that call to a friend of mine, he had started a company here called Andela. I don't know if anybody knows of it, but what they do is they train software developers. Yeah. And initially, I just talked to him just to get a sense of what was going on here. But later on, he circled back and he's like, didn't you do something in information technology? I was like, yeah, I did. And he's like, do you want to check out this role? Like, I'm not hiring, but, if it fits and it's something you're interested in it. I went and I checked out the role.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I saw that they needed someone with a tech background, but they also needed someone with a theater background.
Oh.
I'm like,
what was this role?
Exactly.
That sounds ideal. Like, it was too perfect.
Ideal. It was so ideal. And this is where I have to also shout out God. Thank you. Thank you. Because, I had to pray about this stuff. And like literally it was so perfect. Basically, I had to train the developers in their soft skills. Right? But also build curriculums around how they learned these said skills. Yeah. And then also track their progress across the board. So you guys check out Andela if you want to become a software developer. That's your plug. But yeah, I did that and I moved under that umbrella. So it was great because when I came for the first year, I didn't have think about my rent. I have to think about food, and because they fed us there. Like, I gained so much weight that year.
I saw pictures of your cafeteria. That was like a restaurant.
Exactly.
And...
It's so cool. So I was really happy, and honestly, like I probably experienced like probably the steepest learning curve in my life. Like, I learned so much, and I met
How long were
many
you there
brilliant
for?
people. A little under a year, because I did go. I was not coming.
Yeah, acting was so
I mean, I came here to perform. I don't come here to do tech. But I really, really enjoyed my experience. I really expanded my mind, and in terms of just how I approach things. And the reason why I'm reiterating that is because a lot of the processes that I used to sort of be successful at my job is it's everything I'm applying now as an actor. So if you've ever looked at the brand, like, whatever that means to you, if you hear Nengi Adoki and if you know of Nengi Adoki, like, I think it's a lot to sort of like, acknowledge right now in terms of that process. So working in tech helped me to, one, engage with the industry as both an outsider and an insider, because I remember when I used to then at night go to everywhere performance art, whether it was like a small Bogobiri performance, or it was like a show at Terra Culture, or it was Freedom Park, like where they used to do the theater festivals and stuff. So I got to meet a lot of the people who were already in industry, and I think that there's something to be said about meeting people as an outsider, quote unquote, because for some reason people just felt more comfortable talking about the industry. And I'm speaking from personal experience. This is like my opinion, y'all, for you.
I think it's easier because I feel like there's no sense of judgment.
Yes, they didn't think that I was playing in the same space.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, imagine now these days when I talk to some people in the industry, knowing that I'm in the industry, I just don't get that same sense of like openness.
Yeah.
Right? And it's hard because, especially for me coming from the tech industry, where like a lot of what we used to do thrived on collaboration, where now I'm in an industry where collaboration in tech and transparency, I must add. Because when I now flip it to Nollywood,
It's not there.
I think even if it was there, it's at the beginning stages where people are now starting to realize that it's not something that already exists, right? So there's a lot of secrets.
God.
Yeah, which is not helpful.
I don't know. I don't understand the secrecy part. Even till now, it's very funny to me.
Yeah, it's not helpful because at the end of the day, if we all know what it is, not what you want to project so that people feel that you are, I don't know, for whatever reason. Some people do it to appear more successful. Some people do it because, who are you talking to? Are you talking to me as a producer? Because like these are the people funding my film. I don't want you, you can't have access to these people because,
it's this fear of competition, instant competition.
It's really weird.
If I tell you, you can't talk to this person. If I tell you, you can't meet the person.
Exactly,
It's
or
strange.
or now you know more than me, or whatever it is. And I'm not gonna blame people because leave even the industry talk outside of it. If anything, in Lagos, I've just learned that I can't be naive as to not also be aware that not everybody also has your best interests at heart, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But me personally, when I'm engaging with the industry, like my goal is not self-preservation.
What's
my
your
goal really is to build.
When you say build, can you expand on that?
I mean, just even as far as like the structure that would have helped someone like me coming into the industry, knowing that maybe this is the agency I need to go to.
Yeah.
Or these are the institutions this is the guild that I need to go to. This is what I need to do. Or I need to do X number of projects. I'll be eligible to audition for these bigger projects.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed is that even at that level, even when you've had a lot of experience in the industry, every single time you approach a new project, it can feel like you are starting again multiple times. Like, where are the accreditations where okay, I'm about to do this project,
Yeah.
and these are the sort of actors I need?
Yeah.
We need to do away with those canopies in front of audition locations.
God, please, you're giving me war flashbacks.
Yeah, we need to. Because I remember the first time I did one of those, terrible experience. Nobody should have to
I
experience
think you
that.
should actually share this experience because I've worked at auditions and it's like, I don't know the word. I don't want to sound rude, but I don't know the word because there's pity for the people under the canopy and there's anger at the same time.
There's anger, there's the hot sun, you know, and
I
some
want
people
to pity you because you woke up, you left your house by 4 a.m. to come and audition for a role that you're 70% not going to get it.
Do you understand?
So I already pity, like I'm already sympathizing with your struggle. But I'm not angry that you think I'm the reason why you're not going to blow. Because I'm just here to assist in this audition.
Right.
And you think, oh, you people already have who you want to pick for the role. You just brought us here to suffer. And I know, I'm like, some actors actually do audition for roles and get it.
And you are 100% right, because that has been my career. Because you need to realize, even though I was born in Port Harcourt, I don't know anybody here. I literally came here and started from ground zero. So I can assure you, because it's so easy for people to look at someone like me and say, the reason they're hiring me is because of, you know, earlier I used to hear maybe it's the way I spoke.
Your accent,
or the fact that I'm light-skinned, or I'm pretty. Shout out to my parents. Thanks. Like,
we need to stress on the
looks.
looks.
I'm just saying, you know, it's easy for people to say that, but if there's anything, I want to validate that. Like, I know people tend to think that it's because you know this person. Or
everybody knows somebody.
It's not always like that. It's
there, but that's not the entire thing.
Because even, say, for instance, like, even on the men's club, I auditioned just like everybody else. I went into the room just like everybody else. There was nobody saying hire this person, hire. So if you're listening to this and you feel that, maybe you are part of the industry and you feel that that's what's happening, I wanna dare you to test it out. And what I mean by that is, like, I want to dare you to become so good at your craft that if you walk into a room and they ignore you, you are well within your rights to say that they already know who they want to pick.
Fair. Because I also feel the need to explain this whole, they know who they want to pick. Yeah. Because as a writer, like when you're even creating, like when you're helping to develop a story, you have an idea of, oh, this actor may fit this role.
Yeah.
Well, it's not set in stone.
No, it's not. No. Yeah.
So when you say, oh, they know who they want to pick, they have an idea of who they want. And if you now, like, another thing they don't realize is because you're not good for this role does not mean they will not call you later.
Exactly.
Because I know so many actors that came for audition in like 2016. We didn't work with them until like 2019.
Yeah.
And people forget that waiting. I know it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Oh my God.
But there's a waiting period that is very frustrating, but it's actually, I think it's necessary.
Right. Yeah, it is necessary. I mean, for instance, it's why when I told my agency I was moving to Nigeria, they said, no. Like, you are not doing that. So, well, I am. Because where are the jobs?
Yeah.
Where are the jobs? And they kept saying that. And I know what you're saying is why they kept, like, you know, hampering on that. Like, no. And it's because you have to churn the wheel. It doesn't matter where you are. Any actor you see that's, like, quote unquote successful, no matter how good they are, there's some level of paying your dues that needs to be involved.
Yes.
That shouldn't be substituted for abuse.
Course.
On set. So as an actor, you have to understand what really is paying your dues versus someone...
So it doesn't turn to slavery.
Yeah, someone abusing you on set, right? Yeah. So, and we'll go into all of that, but yeah, you are right. And I know that because even as a writer on my show, The Most Toasted Girl...
We're going to talk about that.
Yes, we can talk about that. Even as a writer on my show, right? And even I'm now developing a new one, another web series. Yeah, I can't talk about that one. Yeah.
It's okay.
But when I'm thinking about who I want to cast, right? First of all, before whoever it is that I might feel will fit a role, I'll put it down. But like you said, it's not set in stone. And the reason why I have them now is just as a rough reference of what this... When I was casting, there are other people, for instance, Folaremi, who plays Tech Bro in one of the episodes of The Most
I love him so much.
Oh, he's so good. You know,
Yeah,
he's
he is.
so good. And if you haven't seen the show, please go on YouTube. It's called The Most Toasted Girl. Watch it. Tech Bro is one of the episodes. And this guy
it's
very funny. Yeah, so he does it and he's hilarious, right? But I remember when we were writing that, I probably had like 3 names down. It wasn't him.
It's the same thing I was saying about GM.
Yeah.
Like when I read the character description for GM and it said you, I was like... I kept talking, I was like, okay, I like Nengi, but I don't see it.
You know what?
So it was a very interesting thing. I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like, oh,
you
God.
don't see it, yeah.
So when we had the phone call, I was like, oh. Like, everybody on their toes, like, how would this play out? So I was so excited. Like, the first scene, I was like, oh, okay. All right, let's go with this.
Yeah.
So when people hear that whole, we don't see, they think it's an attack. It's like, no. It's just a little bit of excitement and fear. Because you're like, I've seen this person. And it's a challenge to you as an actor. Because it's like, I've seen this person. And you're almost stereotyping the person because you're from Lola to Lily.
So
you put them in a box. Exactly.
And next thing you know what? And I'll explicitly say this, like... If I were to label the kind of actor that I was, like, I'd probably call myself a character actor. With a character like GM on Enahe, I'm in my house. Like, I would be much better off playing a tree than I would a romantic comedy or whatever. And I say this because what you just said is also insightful for me as an actor because of my experience, because of the things that I like, I know I'm a little eccentric, depending on who's in the room. Because there's some people who I just vibe with, you know. But I know, to me, it then feels like it should be obvious to casting directors that I would play a GM and play well. But now what you're telling me, it's not that immediately obvious,
no, it's
right?
Not. It's not.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of actors need to sort of like, you know,
because
be
even
aware.
the fans, didn't you see, everybody was so shocked.
Everyone
was
was shocked.
How did Lola go from that to GM?
Yeah.
And now it actually adds more layers to the characters because nobody expected us to be that young.
Yeah.
So now everyone's like, how old? When did she start being a mad person? Like, when did she start this behavior? Like, what happened to her? And it's so fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I had a lot of fun playing that character.
Obvious.
Like, what? I told you, this is like, you know, my home. So, and this is why I think it's very important for like, you know, actors, you know, producers, writers, everyone to just keep putting your work out there because you just never know, right? You just never know in terms of like, there's how you perceive yourself and there's how people see you just as a human being. Now, as far as the craft, this is why I'm saying it's very important because if there was one singular thing I imagine that might have made anybody think I could have pulled off a GM, it's because I pulled off maybe a different character well.
Yeah.
Not because they've seen GM, but because, okay, if you could pull this off well, and everybody who knows me knows that I'm like miles away from Lola. I'm not Lola in real life. In fact, that character is one that even Lily from Forbidden, like I didn't like her.
Why?
I didn't like her. I
think you should describe the character so people can know
So Lily
what's going on.
in Forbidden, right? She was this very like almost overbearing best friend to Anyton, played by Teresa Adam.
Yeah.
Right? Or Adam. Like she was there for Teresa or for what's her name? Anyton to points where I even felt like it was very toxic.
Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah, I'm your best friend. I can do anything. Like, it's like, where do you have a life?
Oh yeah, I know those. That
do you have a life?
Where everyone was wondering, like, what does Lily do for a living? Like,
what does Lily
where's
do?
Her family?
Where's her family? Where is her life about this person? So, some of my best friends. Now, if I was talking about me as a person, sometimes I'll go 2 months and I haven't spoken to them. But I'm just really connected to them in a way that transcends like that thing where you have to really just check in and be with somebody every single day and every single hour.
I get that.
Now with Lola, Lola opened her 2 eyes and entered into a side chick relationship. Please. Please. And right now, as I'm talking, remember what we talked about?
You're married, right?
Yeah, now, well,
I saw...
ish. because it wasn't even a real way. So Lola on the men's club is this side chick who, who became the main chick, right? I don't know if I would want the foundation of my relationship for the rest of my life with someone to be based off of side chick.
That upgraded.
No, come on, hell no, right? So.
No shade to side chicks. I mean, do you?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying Nengi, compared to... The reason why I loved Lola, however, as a character is because I just found her very unconventional. She was doing all of these things. If Lola was doing all of these things, all of what she did in like a Western society, and it's not to say morals there are like non-existent, but I'm just saying if she was doing it there, it would come as less of a shock to me. But I understand how conservative we are in Nigeria when it comes to some of these things.
That's why you had someone attacking your DMs.
Exactly. Someone did come and attack me in my DMs because of what Lola did to Toyin yeah, exactly. So for me, right, I loved her because she was just doing something that was just very unconventional. Did I like what she was doing? I don't know. Not really. I haven't really thought about it like that. But would I do it? Nah, hell no. That's what I said. But I liked her because she was just functioning differently, as opposed to what society expects from the average Nigerian woman.
No, that leads to GM.
Aha.
Because when you say Lola is already unconventional, we need to talk about the obvious.
The obvious unconventional.
They call her the love child of, is it Joker and Harley Quinn or something?
You know what's funny? People keep saying, and if you haven't watched this, you guys, Enna Hair shows every day, Monday to Friday.
8:30.
8:30 on
Africa
Magic Showcase. Yeah, you're right. Africa Channel
151.
151. Yes. So please watch it. Now, for GM, she's very unconventional in a very conspicuous way, I believe. And I have to really shout out literally from the writers, because she jumps out of you on the page.
I'm sorry, even your voice is different when you play her.
Yes, it's very different. If I was GM right now, I'd be like, she jumps out of you on a page. Thank you.
Where did
that's
that...
very
Because you have the GM lovers. I love GM because she reminds me of Villanelle. Then you have the ones that are like, oh, she's too, what's the word? She's too excited. She's not realistic.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, where did you get is it inspiration? Or how did you create GM? I know she's obviously you got the
on the page, yes, the character description.
But how did you make her your own?
I would say, I guess my journey there probably started off with a 4-hour-long discussion that I had with Sanchez before we started shooting. Okay. And for me, as part of my process, I need to be able to answer questions about the characters that I'm playing just as well as I would answer questions about me.
Yeah. Because
they're not me.
Yes.
So for instance, if GM was happy at any point, I don't think anybody would actually know. You don't know.
The switch is also very interesting. Because you see her laughing with you, the next thing she's pulling a gun on you. And...
Yes. And she's doing all of those things, and why? So for me, having that conversation helped me answer a lot of questions, things that I didn't have answers to. For instance, there's nothing in the script that lets me know where she's even from.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming from Lagos, but even the way she sounds, that this one, she was in Lagos, but where was she before? What kind of parents does she have? Were they kingpins? Were they drug lords, right? What kind of education does she have?
Did she even go to school?
Did she go to school? Yeah, what kind of... So for me, it was just kind of having that backstory, because you can't be a GM and be normal.
Of course not. No, she's not.
So she definitely didn't have a normal upbringing. In fact, in my mind, she was probably someone who was abused terribly, but also privileged.
Yeah, she seems.
So the combination of those two things, yes, you're in this world where everything is provided for you, but you were really abused, where to the point where she might even take matters into her own hands and kill someone who's close to her, like her mom, for instance. Yeah. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I just have to paint those pictures because, at the end of the day, she bringing out a gun and pointing at somebody is like drinking tea to her. This is something she has experienced. Either she has done the killing herself or she has witnessed killings happen so much that at this point, literally, you could have a dead body here and it doesn't matter. Right? So for me, it was just answering those questions and then also because I notice a lot of people compare. I've seen Joker, but I haven't seen Harley Quinn, which I will see because I want to see what about her like makes people think that she's a Harley Quinn.
Well, to be fair, I think anybody people consider crazy these days, and she's
they'll
a woman.
just say, "Oh,
you're laughing too much and you're killing people."
Harley Quinn. Yeah, so I have to see that, but ultimately, I think that for a character like GM, she's a hedonist.
Yeah.
Anything she's doing is for her benefit. It's like how, for instance, take something as normal as, say, something was stuck in your nose, for instance, and you had to put your hand up there and get it out. That's probably something you wouldn't want to do in front of other people because people are like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? So you probably step in the washroom or maybe you might
she'll happily do that.
Yeah, if you had to use maybe a tissue paper or whatever. But because she's self-serving, and it's why she's here. It's not about you. GM would do something like that right in front of you and look you in the eye while she's doing it because to her, you are as disposable as the booger in her nose.
Fair. So, okay, I think this is a very, I also use big grammar and say technical question. But, like, okay, for a character like GM, so we're going through your characters, and even the ones we don't know of.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, like, what's your, let's say, selection process? Like, how do you know, okay, this is a character I want to work as, this is a project I want to work on?
Right. Okay.
Are you picky?
Yes. I'm picky.
Okay.
I'm very picky. And I also want to say, please, like, being picky, I think there's some privilege in that as well, especially in an industry like Nollywood, because the jobs that I consider, like, worthwhile are so few and far between. So, but there's so many things that sort of inform that process. It's like, what's the story? What's the character?
Because I was going to ask, when you say picky, are you picky on story? Are you picky on, this show will give me so much hype? Or this movie will make me, again, blow?
Again, it's a combination. It's a combination of different things. For instance, at the beginning of my career, there's some roles that I would have taken because, man... and I'll cite, like, Lily from Forbidden as one of those roles because I hadn't been on TV. And I remember when some people were even dragging me. So
that was your first TV role?
Yeah, that was my first... No, it wasn't my first TV role.
Okay.
It was my first 260 episode stint where my character lasted from the beginning to the end. Now, I had done, like, little things on the side, like Hustle. I'd been in Castle and Castle.
Oh.
Yeah. So just little roles here and there, but nothing like that's, like, expansive for sure. So I needed to do TV because those people who are still watching TV now,
Lily's
not
still on.
Exactly.
Like, Forbidden is still showing. So.
I'm not on Twitter with you people.
That's the thing.
They're not on Twitter with you guys, and like they're doing their thing, watching their show, enjoying their lives, really. So how can I connect? How can people there see, the craft? Now, in terms of the web, when I opted to do Men's Club, it wasn't my first web series. I had done a couple. I'd done a couple before that. Inspector K as well. I did that as well. But at the time, again, I had never really done a role where it was prominent, like TV. I'd done so. I just needed a prominent role, so I chose to do that and it's nice that you asked that because shortly after, I got a request to do yet another TV series. I wouldn't say which one, but the role was pretty similar to Lola. For me, when my management I plot it out, I've already done that. Like, for me, it's so important that nobody puts me in any box.
Yes.
That is my priority because I'm so much more. I can do so much more. And I would love people to see that as opposed to... And like I said, there is privilege because some people don't know this, but I've drank my own fair share of Gary, especially when I said no. Because sometimes when I've done something before, even though you're offering me a whole lot of money to do that, I was okay, can I at least pay my bills this month?
Can I afford this now?
Can I afford? Yeah, basically.
Exactly.
Can I? If the answer is yes, then I'm like, okay, I've done it before. Because I don't want anybody to drag me if you see me doing another Lolaro. Just now I was broke.
Because it's so easy for people to be like, it's so easy. Everyone's like, she's done this role before.
Forget it.
Are you paying their bills?
If something is hooking you and you need to collect the role, do you, sweetheart?
Exactly.
know? So, but for me, it's like, okay, is this life-threatening? Right? No.
What's your question? Is this
Will I die? Okay, I won't die. Okay. No, thank you. Right.
Fair.
Yeah. And but if it on the flip side, if it's a fresh role, great production value. Some people get upset when I ask who's directing. You can't be upset. I have to know what I'm getting myself into.
They don't like
Who is producing.
Yeah.
I have to know what I'm getting
You need to know
myself
the environment.
into. Exactly. Especially if you're offering peanuts. You should be willing, happy actually, to answer those questions, because I can't tell you the number of times where just that simple question, who is producing, will annoy a producer.
Oh my God, she's raising shoulders already.
See, if it's that
Now they
one,
think- and it's so weird
my
because-
shoulder has left this world.
Like, I need to know what I'm getting myself into. I need to know my environment. It's a
I need
job
to know.
space.
I need to know what I'm getting myself into, especially if the money isn't there, right? I need to know, where is it going? What's the distribution like? What would the final product look like?
Yeah.
Not the one I'll now go and do. I'll give my hands. I'll carry it, because the way I treat my craft, I've spent time on it. I have invested in it. I've spent a whole lot of money, right? So it matters to me who I give that to. All of who I am at this moment in my life. I have to know that you're going to handle with care,
Yeah.
at the very least.
That
You know?
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because I've made investments, and that's the thing. When people are like trying to price actors like tomato in the market, like you forget that a lot of investment has gone into who they are today. So when I come on your side, I'm not coming to you as someone who just learned how to act today. No. In fact, as far as what has happened in my life, I've still not broken even. As far as what's my, in business you invest.
Yeah.
And then when the profits come and everything, you break even, you get then you can now start making profit. I'm saying as far
Thank you
as...
for that explanation. I don't know anything.
Oh, no.
I just give you that look like...
Yeah, I saw the look and I was like, okay,
keep
maybe
talking.
I should add context
Yes,
here.
yes.
Yeah, you invest in a business, you build it, and then over time you make the money you invested. Then after
Yes.
that, I'm telling you right now that I haven't gotten to the point where I've made the money back. But I also think for even actors in my position, it will be a disservice to yourself and to other people if you only think about the work in terms of just money. So like I said, what am I getting myself into? So if the money is not there and I say, okay, don't worry, you don't have to, then what is the story? Is the character interesting enough? Is it going on a platform that I've never been on?
And that's such a good thing to have an actor that actually cares to ask this question, because a lot of some producers actually think they're doing you a favor.
Exactly.
Like, I found you, I offered you the role.
Exactly.
You should be grateful. I'm grateful, but I also want to I want to know what I'm doing.
I would like to know. And honestly, when people tell me that they found me, I'm like, there's a reason why. There's a reason why you found me.
Exactly.
You understand? Like, you didn't just come and see me chilling in the corner. Like, I was
You
doing
found me.
something
I didn't come to look for
that
you.
you liked. You understand? So that's how I and I have to shout out my management as well. The people at 37 State Media. They're on Instagram. You can check them out as well. They manage me, and I think that they do a pretty good job.
Do they have
doing that.
when you mentioned an agency system, if anybody's looking to
Well,
reach out to them?
Not an agency system, because for a lot of what I do here and how I do it, I've had to adapt, right? Because I remember at the beginning of my career, people, when I made recommendations with my big mouth, nobody asked me. Why is it I had a prominent Nollywood star dress me down? She said, the way you're going, your career, it can be here. She put her hand up. But with the way I'm going, I will only be here. She put her hand down.
Wow.
So, give me all that just because I was going for value. I was asking these questions and, she just wasn't
Once
having
again,
it.
I don't understand the beef with questions.
There's beef, there's a lot. So, see, as far as just, value, like asking and saying, hey, what are we doing so that we can do better? How are we doing it so we can do it better? Right? Like, where is it going?
Yeah.
So I know. And not just that, what royalties? Is anything being exactly? We will not start laughing. There's a lot to laugh at. When I first, that's what I'm saying. So you can see this square. You're laughing too.
Yes.
That's why they were calling me Omo Toronto when I first came. I'll be talking about these things, but do it seem like, I'm trying to like impose some form of like
don't
Western
worry,
ideal.
Don't worry, to touch you.
But you see, I think that it's not helpful to think through. I think what's more helpful is to look at the industry and say, what do we actually need? We can't be complaining about the same things year in, year out. Like that's why I said for me, the goal is to build. Right. Yeah. And what does that look like? Does that mean creating creating the sort of productions that I would like to be a part of? Right. Does that mean supporting institutions that are already producing the sort of talent that I would like to hire? Yeah. Does that mean, supporting guilds, the kind of guilds that I would like to see, supporting the award shows?
Because there's so much more to this industry than acting, writing, and directing. Those three branches. And I think a lot of people don't know that there's so many jobs that can be provided that beyond just acting, directing, and writing.
There's everything. There's so many roles.
Like we don't even have enough lawyers in the industry.
No, not enough entertainment lawyers. We need a lot, like so many gaffers, so many.
Like you're saying, look, we don't have agencies.
No.
Many, like if we have 4 prominent agencies, that's huge. 4 is huge.
Yeah.
So there's so many untapped jobs here.
And like I said, so because of the lack of structure, a lot of times even for the actor, it can feel like starting again with new jobs. I think even for the producer as well, it can feel like starting because you still go and look for money. You still now call favors. It's like, no, we need to fix the structure. We need to, not just the structure, we need to fix the distribution, the end. Like, it's the means, right? Because if we understood how the money was sort of circulating and said, okay, we can now start having like standardized rates for all of these things. So
that's why a lot of people are so, like, I know lots of writers are so scared to make films because they're like, what's the point? Where is it going to?
Where is it going? Yeah.
Are you going to start battling with the big people in cinema, or are you going to start nobody's going to just go?
How much is Netflix going to pay for it? How much does YouTube pay for it? I can tell you right now, as the writer and producer and actor on the most first I can tell you, I'm still doing Bambiala on the internet.
I saw you put up your page. By the way, guys, she has a Patreon, so please support. Watch Most Twisted Girl and support so she can make more.
Please go on my Instagram. It's the Nengers, THENENGERS. Let me spell it again. THENENGERS. Click on it. There's a link there. That link will always lead you to where you can give me money.
Now, actually, I'm so happy you brought up your Instagram because I'm going to dive into your online presence. I think that's the word. Persona. And I'm actually happy it matches with your real life persona.
It kind of does.
Because you're very, you're electric, you're vibrant, you're fun. You wake up and choose violence on certain days. Guys, there was the Amala thing, and I can't find it tweets. I
left it up. Girl,
are you serious? I was looking for it.
Chest.
I was looking for oh no, I'll be so shook if Nengi deleted it. But
I did not, because there's no point.
Exactly.
Why would I delete
On some days you choose violence. On some days you're very what's the word? I won't say soft or so. Oh my God, Nengi's being so sweet today. Why? Why? But you always have this strong presence. And I'm just curious to know, have you always been this person?
No.
Aha. So that's how did you get here?
I'm so blessed to be an actor because I think it was my journey as an actor that brought me here. Because oftentimes I'm playing so many different characters, but I need to always be able to find my way back to myself. So for me, in delving into those things, one thing has been very important. I have to know who I am.
Yeah.
I have to know who I am because then if a character takes me away from my body or my mind or my soul, whatever, I should be able to anchor and come back. And I remember when I was a kid, even my younger sister used to bully me.
Oh God! I can't even imagine that,
bro. If she was here, she'd laugh and tell you the story. I was just so quiet because for some reason I thought that people could hear my voice in my head. How does that even work? Wow. You say something, I'll fully answer you, but my mouth literally did not move. I thought that people could hear me And it took years because my parents were even worried. They thought that something was wrong with me or some like. So when I started performing, I think because when I was younger, the one time that they used to like hear me was when I was singing.
Oh, you sing?
I sing, and I dance, and
you write, you produce,
yes,
you act.
Yes, I'm blessed.
Sing,
I do a whole lot more, but let's focus on the entertainment side.
Or should I tech bro?
Tech bro, whichever one. So, like for me, it was just about just honoring like my process, I guess. Like I just noticed that I was just more expressive every time I was performing, and then I didn't feel judged or anything. So, especially when I was dancing, I could just really lose myself in the music, and that's why I wanted to be a dancer at first. Acting for me is like movement it's like dancing but with words.
Yeah.
Right. So you paint pictures in terms of how you want people to feel, and that's why I'm able to. I will not be able to own any characters if I don't own who I am.
That's very important. I think every other actor should actually like tap into that.
Yeah. When I say own who I am, a lot of times we want to ignore our flaws. For me, it's very important to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not perfect, I think that there is beauty in the process of becoming as opposed to looking forward to the end.
Yeah, the happiness destination thing.
Yes.
Where you think you have to wait till you get there.
Yes.
When you can just enjoy the journey. When you can
just be here. Like, I tell people all the time, like, there are days where I'm unhappy. In fact, if anything, if, for instance, I'm sad about something and I need to cry, I'll cry. And I don't rush. I will literally sit there with what I'm feeling, feel through it, and then decide to come out of it. And that's what it's what's kept me. Because I remember last year, with the pandemic, I met a side of myself that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, because earlier on you mentioned
I did, yeah.
How hard
I mentioned
it was.
how hard
Are you okay talking
me.
about it?
Yeah, I can talk about it. I can talk about it because, like, I didn't realize that I would even need therapy, but I did. And I'm glad I got it because at the end of the day, it's just so hard. The world is already a very tough place.
Yes, it is.
Living in Nigeria is even tougher.
God.
There's a lot of empathy I have for people who wake up every morning in a country like this where leaders don't care, nobody cares, and there are no options. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't have to look far. You can just look on the roadside and see an old lady that's supposed to be enjoying the tail end of her life still hawking something.
Or you see a little child, 5 years old,
carrying,
and you're just like, you're supposed
running
to be in
without
school.
shoes, disabled people on the streets. It's like, in that empathy, there's also guilt for me who I don't have everything, but there's some options.
So what do you feel guilty about?
That it's the same feeling I would have if I was driving a Ferrari in Nigeria. It's not to say I don't like enjoyment.
Yeah.
Hear me out. The roads are bad. The streets are ugly. Nigeria has progressively gotten uglier. And if you're listening to this, feel free, drag me. I said it. And I'm going to say it again. This place is ugly. And dirty. There's literally you drive on the streets, there's dirt all over the street. There's...
See, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
go ahead. Day I went to Yaba. I've not gone out, the pandemic made me just stay inside. But the first day I went to Yaba and I was just looking. There is dried up piles of, gutter dirt on the road. They're looking like decoration. And I was like, how? How are people walking past it? How are people eating next to this? How are you not, taking pictures and tag your governor and,
Exactly. We've normalized a lot of the pain.
And that's
what
scary.
I said in terms of the guilt, because at least... I lived in Canada for almost a decade. I know better exists.
Of course.
Some people don't. How do you begin to tell someone who doesn't even know that something could be better?
And it's no longer about comfort zone. This is all they know.
This is it. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I said that's where that guilt comes from. And just the powerlessness as well that I felt, because I also witnessed, even some of my friends who tried to come and build really amazing things. Some of them are very successful, others not so much. I mean, just hearing them talking about how going to a government or going to a community and saying, I want to build a school, I want to build this, or I want to do the roads. And they're telling you, you have to pay them. You have, how many children in that community? So for how much you would rather they were illiterate?
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't even stop there. They literally threatened my friend and said, if you try and build, it is in the creek, they will pick up your body.
Oh, shit.
What?
Like, there's no reason to continue.
Like, so what, how do you even, where do you even begin? Now, that's just on a national scale, just being in Nigeria. Some people think that like being a creative in the Western part of the world is any easy.
Of course.
It's not easy, It's not easy. The same way everyone's hustling for the next like job. Every single person is still hustling. Yeah, maybe it's easier in terms of like, structure or whatever, but
there's
you
a
can't
system
tell.
there.
Yeah, there's a system, but it's not
even
easy.
Even in that system, you see, like, because I follow the screenwriting topic on Twitter, and I just sit there and I'm just like, we all are complaining about the same thing.
Yes.
It's just like you're getting paid in dollars.
Exactly.
And I'm not.
And the quality of life there, like, it's like the
You
same.
can afford to complain there and be like, okay, at least I can manage, but I would rather have your problem.
You understand? Yes, that's what I'm saying. So for the Nigerian creative, for the Nigerian human being, it's already hard.
Yeah.
Then a virus?
Throw that in with economic
Like, are you
issues.
freaking kidding me? With all of everything that's going on. Now, when we heard about the virus, obviously, other countries and everything, some people came together, like they were coming together for the communities. They were giving like relief checks, $2,000, $1,200.
We were watching. And
Nigeria, how far?
They were hoarding Indomie.
1 naira, I didn't even get through at that time. And it was probably like, I remember at a time, because I have the tendency sometimes, I struggle with toxic positivity sometimes, because like I just want I'm like, everything it's going to get better. You have to think that till that happens. But at some point, you have to actually just kind of like look around you and say, okay, hang on. This is not working. Maybe I need to do something else. Maybe something else. Because I remember even at the time I was helping. That's how I now became the one in need.
What do you mean?
The money finished now. Am I the government? By anybody's money. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So then me now, and I had to start constructing like messages. So come on.
Yeah.
So it was just a whole lot. So for me, so the short answer, so no, I haven't always been like this. And I'm still in many ways getting to know myself. But I think for where it's at right now, it's probably what you're now seeing as like Nengi.
Fun.
Yeah. It's all been a process. I can't even tell you this is where a switch happened. What I just tried to do was just to, if I was ever interested in something, try it out. And I'm just thankful for the sort of parents that I had.
Yeah, because remember I asked if they've always been supportive.
They've always, they have, well, my dad came around. My dad came around.
How long did it take him?
A while. But these days he calls me, he's like, so what are you doing now?
Has he watched any of your things?
Yes, he has. The first time he saw me was on stage. I was playing.
Here or?
It was in Nigeria, yeah. Okay. He was around at the time, and sadly before, I don't know if I should get into that, but if you've been following me long enough, you would know that my dad at some point was kidnapped in Nigeria.
I'm sorry, I don't know about this.
It's okay, it's okay. Some people know, some people don't. He was kidnapped at some point, and I can talk about it now, thank God. But you see, these are some of the things that like bother me, about like, just like living here. And I remember it was right before it happened. He had come to see me at a stage show. Then he went back to Port Harcourt, and then unfortunately, that happened. But yes, he has been very supportive. These days, he lives in Chicago because, he has to be there, getting world-class treatment, I hope. Right? And as far as even just my siblings, I live in Lagos with my sister. Shout out to Nengi Adoki. I love you. She also like really like supports me. So as an actor, you're moving from you're employed, then you're unemployed, then you're employed, then you're unemployed. So when things kind of like get, I said I was looking at my accounts, I never thought I was gonna see 157 naira in my life. But it happened. And it's not the first time it's happened. Like, I've gone to, like, literally, like, ground zero, right? Especially during that Corona time where then I had to empty everything because, like, savings and everything. Like, there's no money coming in. But then other people argue on the flip side that 2020 was probably my breakout year. Because...
I mean, that was the same year you
Toasted Girl came out.
Yes.
Men's Club came out. You know, all of these things were happening. And then it just seemed like a lot was happening, like... successfully at the forefront, but then inside I was there battling with like anxiety attacks, you know, depression, you know, just not being financially like unstable, just worrying about even just my parents because, you know, they're senior citizens in the midst of a pandemic where my dad,
you're not with
needs
them.
Yeah, I'm not with them. I'm not with my younger sister and brother who also, again, they don't live here. You know, so there are all these things. Then the obvious suffering around me, especially my heart went out to the creative community that didn't get any sort of support because life was already hard for creatives before the pandemic and before the economic nonsense that's happening. So you add all of that and then there's all these things. So that's where the, I guess, what you call it, sweet side of Nengi, because I have the tendency to be really empathetic. But at the same time, I also have very strong boundaries. I don't like people walking over me. I don't like people imposing their thoughts over me. I'm happy to have a discussion, but I won't be bullied. When I was young and didn't say anything, I was bullied a whole lot. So all of that is done right now. So when you meet me today and you meet me, you have to meet me for who I am and not what you want me to be. Which is why on Twitter, every quarter, I remind people, whether or not you think I'm a role model, it's not my concern. I'm telling you right now that I'm actually not a role model.
Like, I'm not your responsibility. Just free me.
So if there's anything you want to learn in the world, learn. No, if you want to ask me about anything, I'm happy to provide context, you know. But I just find that sometimes when we put people on pedestals, then it kind of does this weird thing where you think they are without flaws.
Yeah, and we think they owe us like dignity, they owe us good behavior. Whatever we define that as.
I am very badly behaved. I know that, and I own it with my chest. I'm serious.
Don't worry.
Like, if there's anything about me that's good, it's because I've decided to be good, not because I'm incapable. Like I tell people, everyone thinks they can't kill somebody until, like, armed robbers come into your house holding a gun to your mom or your dad, or even to you. And next thing you know, adrenaline kicks in, and then you send that person to her. And guess what? You won't regret it. You will look and say, "Good, like, go to hell."
Yeah.
You tried to kill. You go to hell. But before, they say don't kill. But context
Very
always
important.
matters. Please, back to now that Amala tweets now. Since we're talking about bad behavior.
Have you found it?
I went online. I can remember exactly what I said because it came from me.
I love Amala, by the way. I was eating it yesterday.
really?
I was like, this is what Nengi called gutter food.
Yes, I did.
I will bring it up by force.
Bring it up by force. So basically, like, it's not even just it's the smell, it's the way it looks. I'm extremely adventurous with food. But if there's one thing that I cannot eat, I can't even stand it. It's
sounds so personal.
It is so personal because I have a lot of people. I love y'all, all of my Yoruba friends in Lagos, both the ones that I knew before.
Have they taken you out to go and eat good amala?
Tried.
Because I'm sorry, these friends.
My dear, it's not working. It's not working. And the reason why it's personal is because when I don't like it, they also take it personal.
I'm sorry, but that tweet, if you find that tweet, you understand why Nigerians were ready to choke her.
They're ready to choke me.
And it was the way she phrased, and I love how you're now replying to them.
I had to
People
let
like,
them know.
oh, no wonder you're a side chick. I was like, what?
I was like, great.
How did we get there?
I'm always a side chick. No problem. Keep watching
Men's
the
Club.
Men's Club. Keep watching everything that I'm doing. I had said something around like not being able to eat it.
I think you had two tweets at first. The first one was, I think that was it, like, you can't stand it, look or so.
Yeah.
Then the second one was not like the gutter, this thing.
Yeah.
I saw it, I was like, oh shit. Like,
yeah. and honestly, the reason I phrase it like that is because honestly, like, it was honestly buns. I swear. I like to joke about like a lot of things, clearly. Like if I'm joking about something, if the one thing I always think about is, first of all, again, empathy. Lead with empathy. With my tweets, I try as much to not like hurt any marginalized groups, and which is why I'm very pro women. I'm very pro LGBTQ. I'll say it because listen, I don't think anybody's life choices should be what's the word? I don't think anybody should be physically beaten, killed. Every single person has a right to dignity of life, regardless of whether you think they're doing what you like.
And whether you like them or not.
Exactly. And just for me, the human spirit is, we're not designed to be oppressed. We're not designed. So if, just because the oppression isn't affecting you doesn't mean that
it's not there.
It's not there. So for me, if there's any groups that are not like treated well, I'm very, I don't joke with those things. And just, again, like I said, just empathy. But if Amala is where you draw the line, I can't help you. I honestly, listen, I cannot help you because, listen, as a creative, as an actor, as somebody who is now in the public eye, I'm still now learning how to be in the public eye and not be so problematic, because something that I'm just doing because as a function of, I'm Nengi and I'm enjoying this. Somebody else might be like, you can't say that because it's like,
people are watching.
Let me make it clear. I would drag Amala for the rest of my life. But what I'm not going to do is be insensitive, right? So for instance, when I said Amala food was gutter food on the tweet, obviously it was said in a humorous kind of from a humorous side. But some people were saying how, it's a tribal food and, you shouldn't speak this way about it. And I hear you. I think I can come up with respectable ways to keep dragging the meal. You understand? However,
I feel like it's on your to-do list. Like, let me just find a creative way to
slander it without necessarily making it about tribe and culture, because it is not. Like, I'm a foodie. I'm always talking about foods I like. I'm always sharing pictures and videos of foods that I like. And I have so much pleasure eating and experiencing different foods and all the rest, right? So for me, I'm in the public eye. I'm allowed to like things.
And you're also allowed
I'm also allowed to dislike it now. Like, come on, give me a break. Give me a break. If food is what it is, if that's why I'm gonna end up on Insta blog or whatever it is.
Did you?
I don't know. I can't remember, but I have ended up on Insta blog.
Yeah, because I saw
something stupid.
If you search your name and Amala, just see people, and
I was just like, yeah, you'll be all right. I would have been sad if I was being dragged for some of the issues that I care about. Like I said, if I misspoke about any of these other things that matter to me and are dear to my heart, then I would waste no time in issuing an apology. I don't think I need to apologize for saying that.
Of course not.
I don't need to apologize for saying that, because at the end of the day, I've dragged other foods in the past. Nobody, raised their brow. I just felt that the people who were being very personal about it maybe had some other form of personal, because I have dragged some people on my Twitter before. Say for instance, I post something, someone come and say, this is your forehead. And I'll be like,
I don't even know why that's their go-to. That's their go-to attack.
Forehead.
I remember even during forbidden, anytime Lily does something annoying, the next thing her forehead, I'm like, why? Were you waiting for her to mess up when you bring up the forehead?
Do you understand? And for me, all of those things don't even matter to me, because like I said, I've owned who I am. You get. So you're also entitled to your personal opinion. And for me, I don't even think it's a bad thing if anybody doesn't like me. I think that it's a failure.
But that's a trigger for people that want to get under your skin. When they know it's not getting to you. They can't understand that, you actually accept who you are. It's no.
I can't help it. I really can't help it. Because my mom used to tell us this all the time. She's like, you cannot enter a space or a room or expecting everybody to like you. Everyone can't be on your side. I would like everyone to be on my side. In fact, if anything, I know this about myself for a fact. I thrive in collaborative spaces where I feel like everyone's on my side.
Yeah.
And spaces where I feel like, and even when I'm acting and I get into character and I'm uncomfortable, I have to lie to myself. I'm like, listen, everybody in this room likes you. Everybody wants the best for you. You don't have any haters here. You'll be fine. Go kill it. Do whatever you need to do. And that's what I do. Is that the truth? Probably not. But, you know, that's what I have to tell myself. Yeah, that's what I have to tell myself. So I like it. But unfortunately, you know, we're all human beings. Like, it's like if you love amala, you would want everyone to love amala. But it's unfortunate that there are people like me that exist. Do you understand?
I love how we just had like, let's say 10 minutes on amala.
I love it too.
I love it.
I love it too. No, the reason, and it's not even just about amala. I think the reason why it's less about the amala, and this is to the people who were even dragging me for the exact same thing as well. I think it's just the fact that we all have our likes, our dislikes, and fortunately and unfortunately for people like me, if you're in the public eye, everything you say is going to be scrutinized, made to sound like more than it means, sometimes words twisted, and it would be crazy of me to come into an industry like this and not expect that things like that will happen. So when they do happen, if there's anything to learn, I'm happy to learn. If there's anything to apologize for, I will. If there's not, I won't. And I will, if in all of this, I owe it to myself to just keep being myself and growing and evolving, etc., etc. And if you like it, how far? If you don't, hey, yeah.
Fair
That was
enough.
GM right there.
The GM came out, like, she just jumped out.
She did.
I feel like, I've been saying I want to do like 2 truths and 1 lie.
Okay, do it.
And I feel with you, it's going to be so, I don't know, because you said a lot.
I have.
And I'm a bit scared.
I'm an open book. If there's anything I can't talk about, I'll just tell you, yeah, no, I can't talk about that.
But it's for you to say and for me to guess.
Okay, guess.
So you have to say 2 truths and 1 lie.
Okay,
so that's like 3 statements.
Okay.
2 are true, 1 is a lie. And I have to guess.
All right. 2 are true and 1 is a lie. Huh. All right. I once sang in a choir.
Okay.
At the opening of a national Canadian hockey team. 2, I once visited China and I ate a frog. I once worked in a circus.
Oh.
And it was Cirque du Soleil. Guess.
Oh my God. I feel like I set myself up because everything can be true with you, but that's like a setup.
Yeah.
I want to say the lie is you singing the national anthem.
Is that your final answer?
You know what? Yes. Because I believe you go to China again. It's you. I believe that one, and I believe the Cirque du Soleil one. Even though that sounds very, like, for an average person, that sounds very, but for you, it's very you. So
you're right. I did work in a circus. So I was at Cirque du Soleil. I started off selling hot dogs in the stands. And I used to see all these like very quirky human beings, like little people. It was awesome. And I did actually sing in front of a choir. I was in a choir.
Oh, okay.
Singing in front of a team. It was my high school at the time. I was one of the, lead singers or whatever.
How was that?
It was so good. It was so good. That's how I learned how to sing the Canadian national anthem, by the way. So that's what we sang, and then they started the game, and it was such a good game. We lost, but it was such a good game.
That's what matters. It was so good.
It was a good game. So that's when I started watching hockey, and I actually enjoy watching hockey live. I don't like watching it on TV.
Did you ever play? Cause
I tried, but I can't ski properly. I can't skate.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things that I'm still trying to learn up until today. I've tried. Now I would like to go to China. I haven't been.
Will you eat frogs?
No.
Okay.
I will never eat it. I care so much about what enters my body.
What's the weirdest thing you've eaten?
God. What's the weirdest thing I've eaten? But you see, something like snails are normalized to me now. But my Canadian friends are like,
I did not know. I did not know, like, when people, like, found snails weird.
They find, so they're like, how can you eat the slime?
And we don't eat the slime.
Yeah. See, we don't eat the slime. But even though you wash it, they're like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. But weirdest thing that I've ever tried. They'll drag me again. They would drag me again. But I ended up liking it, Sha. But agbo.
What?
I tried agbo.
Are you saying agbo like the drink?
Yes, the drink. Agbo. Am I saying it right? Agbo,
okay.
Agbo.
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
Yeah.
How is that the weirdest thing?
See, because it's normal to you. I'd never ever tried. So when I drank it, I don't know what I was expecting, but what it tasted like was not what it ended up.
I think
what
I'm
I
sure
thought
there
it
are
would
different
taste like.
types. What?
Yeah, the one I had, she had gone like leaves, like these leaves, and then she boiled them together. I don't know. It was just so weird. And I remember the first time I drank it, I was like, this is nasty. But you see, with me, yeah, it depends. Because once I just felt great after drinking. I was like, wait, this thing is doing something nice for my digestive system. I don't know what it is. But I'll have another glass. So I just close my eye and then just like chug it. And then for some reason that taste just got, it's not fully normal to me. But if I see it, I'll drink it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not one of those things that I would just say no to.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Other than that, you know those edible maggots?
Ew, oh my God.
Yeah. I can't even say I've tasted it. I can't.
No.
I can't even bring myself to put it near my mouth. And again, like I said, I'm quite adventurous with food. But I know it doesn't sound like, yeah, I know. Because I keep talking about things that I hate. But trust me, I love all kinds of meals. Vietnamese food, like Indian food. I like a nice oxtail, rice and peas, Caribbean food. Like, I'll eat everything.
But amala. See?
Melodies.
Okay, so let's go to Most Tasted Girl.
Hey, let's talk about that.
So I feel like the main question is why? Because you acted, you wrote, you produced. Like, did you just wake up one morning and say, I have to do something?
I have a question for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, ask.
Oh, yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe, or to what degree do you believe that I am the most toasted girl in Lagos?
I can't answer.
You have to. I've been wrapping answers here. You have
1
to
to
answer.
10. You're very toasted. So I'll say 1 to 10.
Just tell
Let's
me
say
how you're
7.
feeling. That's a good number. That's a good number. If I had to really answer, I'll just say 3, Sha. But
Hey, please, I beg. That's like you forming, please.
I am not forming.
Like I said,
I'm telling you.
I've been observing you. So I've been observing you. So my 7 is very strong.
Your 7 is strong. I don't know. What do you even consider toasting? Like, is it like
Don't
real?
ask me that.
Have you not toasted? What is toasting now? We have to know.
Toasting is different to everybody.
Actually, yeah. That's why I wanted to define what it is. Because maybe for me...
Okay, I'm judging with online presence. Okay. And even your comments on your pictures, I'm just like... See, so I'm using all of that. You're like, even when you work concerts and everything. Because again, I remember the first time I saw you on set was on Forbidden.
Yeah,
Lily.
Forbidden. Yeah.
So everything adds up. So my 7, I'm very confident in my 7.
You're confident in your 7. Okay, so based off of what you're saying, yeah, I might agree with you. If it's like public persona and the way that people kind of like engage with me as a person and me as a brand.
Yes.
As a brand, yes, I definitely agree. But as a person, I definitely don't. Like, I think that people... It's kind of like how you started. Like, I don't know if you knew what to expect with this conversation. No. And I think that that's a similar case with a lot of guys. And I don't blame them. In that regard, I'm actually extremely difficult to read. And it's not because I'm trying not to be. It's because I want to be. I think that at the end of the day... I have to understand and really enter my feminine wiles If I should put
I'm
it
sorry,
like
that one makes me laugh.
It does, because here's the thing. I was one of those kids, I didn't even know that I was fine for a very long time. Now I know I'm enjoying it. And I would like space to enjoy it before, like, and I start sharing it. No, because the truth of the matter is that a lot of times, especially Nigerian kids, a lot of us, I mean, I grew up hearing affirmations from from people around me. Oh, you know, you're so pretty. But I thought that every kid heard that. So to me, I just thought that everybody was pretty, right? And growing up, and I think, like I told you, acting really helped me to really get aware of myself. Because, you know, even when they put out casting calls, it's very straightforward. They say, tall, light skin. It's so...
Age, this, that.
Yeah. If you were not in the industry and you saw it, you'd be like, why are they doing this? Why are they saying this to people, right? But they need to do that because, obviously, they're looking for a particular look and a feel or whatever. So, obviously, I now had to look at myself. Okay. They're asking for someone light skinned, right? Like, so am I light skinned enough? Because trust me, in my head, I didn't even think I was even that light skinned. I know it's a weird thing. It's a really, really weird. I wasn't that self-aware. Then in Toronto, a funny thing happened where a guy, Philip Aiken, he used to be the creative director for the Obsidian Theatre, like the Black Theatre at the time. So I remember them trying to cast for something, right? And he casually referred to me. He casually called me, I forget the phrase he used. Bombshell.
Ooh.
When he said that, I was like, what?
Me? Are you talking to me?
Exactly. So it was just a lot of these things because even in uni, I didn't really actively date. I probably had like maybe like 1.5 boyfriends.
1.5, okay.
Yeah.
And what does the half mean?
I wasn't sure if it was even a relationship, right? Because I was just so committed to just being myself. And like I said, I'm thankful for my parents because I explored everything. Bro, like there was... I just called you bro. There was a time where like I was even competing to be in Canada's national rowing team. Yeah, I was going to become an Olympic rower. And I was pretty fast. I was pretty good. And I used to play basketball on the side. Exactly. And I was running these theater shows for like 5 years. I started directing theater shows when I was 19. Again, because a lot of these people, the environment there, like I said, people collaborated and you thrived.
Yes.
So I did it to the point where by its final year, in one sitting, you had over 1,300 people.
Sorry, but have you done any theater in like Nigeria?
Yes, I have. It was
your
my
own.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
directed?
I haven't directed yet. I would love to. But I played the lead on Waka the musical.
Oh,
yeah, Kike Johnson. Hey.
Oh, wow, small world.
Hi, very small because RSA played that role. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Waka the musical was at Terra Culture. Then they traveled with it to London. That's when they hired me to play it, and then I played the lead on that show. So you can imagine me, and then traveling all around. At some point, I went to Cuba. I was teaching dance.
How long?
Afro. That's what I'm saying. I'm. How old am I? I'm 31 now, and I feel
and
like
you had such a very
that's what
adventurous.
It's a
fun.
pretty fun life that I've lived. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I said there's a hint of privilege as well, especially because now I'm much older. I have to take care of myself. So brand new to me. They're not
plus 30, I mean 30 plus gang.
Like, I have to make my own money. Excuse me. And you know, really, really and truly shout out to anybody who is a side chick, who is a sugar baby, who is a hoe, prostitute, owns it. Listen, and I'm not saying that to be funny. Sometimes I wish I had the chest. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you because like adulting is very hard. It is very hard. I want to be able to call my zaddy and say I need 1 million.
Like I'm stressed.
And the question is which currency?
Distress me right now.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Like,
That's what I need. That's what I need. Well, unfortunately, like I said, I haven't had that much, like, experience. See me that side, I didn't want to talk about dating, but in terms of, like, toasting, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll talk about it now. So, at the end of the day, I was really that kid that was just doing me. I never really defined myself by whether I was attractive or not attractive to the opposite sex. It just wasn't my purview. And even if there were guys that kind of, like, spoke to me, it was almost like I was the last person to find out that I was being toasted. Every time. That's why I said that and a half, because this man literally broke up with me.
And you did not know you were dating him?
I didn't know. So, once the man broke up, I was like, And I asked him, I was like, oh, so what happened? He said that, I wasn't showing him enough attention. I'm like, what do you mean? And even a little bit of that was kind of toxic on his end, because, like, he was like, I wasn't going through his phone. I wasn't checking with. I was like, what's all this?
Are you looking for a relationship or fights?
Did you get? So it didn't even. So for me, it was just like, but now these days, I'm now entering into my bombshell, fine,
leaving the word
self, and now noticing that, hey, God tried. So I'm getting used to it. So before anybody else comes and start telling me anything, I would really just like to enjoy that on my own. Now, it's not to say I'm not looking forward to, like, a really great, like, companionship or partnership or whatever. It's something I would like. Am I crying to my head? No. But I thought that writing Toasted Girl was great in terms of exploring those scenarios that I had with men that didn't necessarily pan out right.
Was that your first writing project in Nigeria?
Yes.
So how was it? How's the process?
As a writer, I spent more time crying.
Oh God, why? Why?
That's just all I have to say. Because, like, just making sure that these scenarios were very realistic. If there's one feedback that I appreciate about, like, Toasted Girl, is the fact that people say it's very relatable.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that it was just me being honest about a lot of those scenarios. And the reason why it's even relatable, forget my writing, is because for everybody, not just girls, not just, for every single person, I think we have more failed attempts at relationships than we do successful ones. And to write a show about a girl like that gets toasted, I mean, inevitably, like, not all of it is gonna go well.
Yeah.
If you think about any girl, because even in my life, I've had more failed things than successful. So I think as a writer, it became important for me to really capture the essence of what those things are, like those little beats. For instance, if you watch the episode with Koye, the stingy man that brings out the calculator and everything, who has not been in situations where by the time you're eating, I know this is not too typical in Nigeria because there's, everything patriarchy. And that expectation from men that they always have to pay when you go out, and women are like, and I don't even also blame women, because even me, I was foolish. One time I used to do that whole Dutch thing. Let me say it now. If you ask me out, you pay. If I ask you, I'll pay. But if you ask me, you pay. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, in Toronto, right, I used to think that, it was better to go Dutch, like split the bill down in half. Because that way, if they're telling you to go home with them and you don't want to go, you say no now. Did you pay for anything that I like? Excuse me? I'll say no. And that way, even here, but when I moved here, I now realized that, a lot of men were surprised and I would offer to pay half. But like I said, in retrospect, I'm even angry at the time that I offered to pay half, because in that episode, as you're gonna see, Toasted Girl, she says it. She says, the day I'll start going Dutch is the day they start paying men and women equal amounts for the same jobs. And you're laughing.
Because you're making more money.
It is true.
I'm not for me. Let's split. What are we splitting?
Listen, we don't even have to think too much about it, because even as an actor, I've been on sets where producers have told me that the lead male was not making that much. So therefore, I couldn't ask for that much.
Were you also lead?
Waiting, consign me. I don't care. I do not care. I valued myself here. You went and you asked someone, the person said this. why are you comparing me to this person based off of the fact that I'm a woman and he's a man? Even one time, I even tweeted this one time where like someone said that, no, we're not paying the money you're asking for is too much because we're not even paying the man this one and he's even married.
What does that even mean?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I get that whole married thing. He has a family.
So, the person said they're okay. And you came to me and I said, I'm not okay. You don't know my life.
He's not speaking for me.
Even if I'm not married, you don't know if I have children or people I'm taking care of.
I don't even need to have all of that. It's not your business. Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm trying to say. In terms of that, like, you know, obviously there's still a long way to go in terms of like, you know, equity. You know, people say equality. For me, it's more equity because at the end of the day, if we're all earning what we're supposed to, and then that interdependence for both men will be free from the baggage of having to collect.
And they don't even like that baggage, but that's for another conversation.
And then women will also be empowered to then do what they need to do. But will that happen? Maybe that's a utopia. I do not know. But for me and Toasted Girl, it's just very important to capture, like I said, how honest these scenarios could be because even when men are paying, they're still thinking it. Mm-hmm. Like, aren't you gonna, you know, even at least offer, let me say no, that kind of thing. I don't know. But that's what I assume. That's why I assume some men, you know, that's how I assume some men think about it and some women think about it as well. So that's what I try to capture. And not just my stories. With Toasted Girl, I really just talk to a lot of my friends and some of the scenarios that they've gone through as well. So, you know, you write those down. And even just recall from when I was very young. I was in Port Harcourt. My cousin, she was well endowed. Her bum was just so prominent. Like, everyone, even I used to stare and I didn't know why. I'm just like, in front of me right now. So, let me just see what's good. So, I remember going outside and a guy who I knew for a fact we did not know. She didn't know, but I gave just some benefit of the doubt because I'm just like, you know what? Maybe she would have met him at a time when I didn't know. And the guy comes up to her and she's like, you look very familiar. What? And me, and I was young, I was looking at him like, are you trying to say familiar? Like, is it the bomb that's doing you like this?
Has the bomb confused you? What?
So it just little things like that where like, you know, it would happen and I would sort of explain that I'm like, okay, great, I should throw this in. And I think what was very difficult in terms of making it very relatable is like anybody can write slapstick comedy. Like you can just write stuff, ha ha ha, okay, by the end of the day, why are we laughing? Mm-hmm. And that's why the broader themes of like, okay, equity and equality in society, like are we earning the same amounts? Like where are those expectations coming from? Are we well within our rights to say, okay, I'll pay half or I won't pay half, or where does that come from? And I don't have answers. Me saying I won't pay, that's just a personal thing, right? And like I said, it's not like I wouldn't even pay. It depends on who asks from me. But I know there's some women that will say, if you like, even when we're married, Baba, you take me out,
yes,
pay for me, my friends, do take away.
Oh God, that makes me cringe.
I don't know where everybody else falls on that whole spectrum. But Toasted Girls, hey, let's have a conversation about it. You watch this, what are your thoughts about it? So what are your thoughts? Would you pay half on a date if a guy asks you?
I don't even know. Well, we're talking as if I've gone on a date in God knows how many.
My dear, at the end of the day, if you went on a date now.
No, I won't pay.
Why?
Before I used to actually form, like I've actually paid half. Like I used to form, let me just quickly. But now I'm like, no.
Why not?
I don't know. Like I won't lie. I don't have an answer. I'm
this
just
one
like,
is just wicked. These are the wicked feminists that they're talking about.
No.
So wickedness.
Because I've gone out with guys, even my friends. I'm like, okay, let's go out.
Right.
Like I'll pay, and I'm like, you're not even raising your hand. You're not for me.
You're not even trying to be like, oh.
And I've had a conversation with a male friend where I used to actually tell him I was surprised, like how some girls feel like, I won't say entitled, because again, privilege comes into it too.
Yeah.
Because that whole like me, I know I can go out and say, let me pay.
Yeah.
But right now,
yeah.
today,
yeah.
if you say let's go, I'm not paying.
Yeah.
I just won't pay. Like
I feel like, and if you talk to girls, there are some girls that like have men that they literally just call for food. I've done it before. Heck, if you tell me we're gonna hang out and you want to pay, you want to take me out, no problem.
see, I can't. I can't do that.
Let's go.
I actually wish I could. I was like, how? You just... Okay, fair. I mean... But that whole independence thing, I'm tired of it.
Exactly. See, at the end of the day, right?
Like...
think about that. What was it? What Twisted Girl episode was that? Where she's like... I can't even remember what it was. I've lost my train of thought. But the point is, like, sometimes... Yeah, when she went out on that day and then she was eating the ribs. Same episode. She's like eating the ribs. She's ripping it apart. And this guy is talking about finance or whatever. She's just eating. She's like, So she clearly went there for food.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think by the end of that episode, she says, hustle so that you can have your Vex money in case.
Because Vex money is very important.
So yes, no problem. I'll go out for food. But at the end of the day, if you want to misbehave and tell me you can't pay, at least I should be able to cover whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that it's, if you're going to do that, then you need to be able to take care of yourself when it comes down to it. But now these days, I value my time a whole lot more.
I think that's where my knee-jerk reaction is. You're paying.
Yeah, in fact, these days I can't even bring myself to go out just for food. Because now, thankfully, I can afford all of that many times over. So food, if we're talking about getting like expensive cars or traveling ahead, that's where I'll be like, okay,
And we're in I don't say post-COVID world, but last year we had a lot of time to ourselves. We were just ordering food.
Exactly.
So me, I've ordered food that I'm even sick of it. So I know what I like to eat.
Yeah. So to just go out because someone's paying for food for me doesn't feel like a good use of my time right now. But if I was less busy, maybe, yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah. So you see these kinds of conversations, like how we just kind of like talked about it, and I'm even toying with the idea of like doing some sort of like podcasts, right? Because I think that all of the issues that we talk about in Twisted Girl, like I think that
they're very very relatable and important.
Yeah, very very very. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to more episodes. Like I said, I've been doing Babiala on the internet. Find my Patreon link. Follow me on Instagram, The Nengers. Click on it. If you want to see more episodes of The Most Toasted Girl, put your money where your mouth is. That's all I have to say. Put your money where your mouth is. So.
But still on that, though, as producer, like, okay, now we're talking about producers before and how they act. So now you're a producer and an actor.
Yeah.
You've seen the two sides.
Yeah.
I don't see, do you have any, like, preferred side?
It's so funny because I've had to say I'm an actor because it's just less confusing for people to engage with. For instance, like because I remember earlier on when I was trying to build my brand, people are like, which one are you doing, Sif?
Why can't I do everything?
Yeah, exactly. So you can, yes, but between me and my management, I think it was just very important to like focus, and I'm putting that in quotes because it's not like I'm not focusing on the other aspects of who I am. It's just as far as like public engagement and reception and persona. Okay, Nengi Adoki is an actor, right? And maybe a writer and a producer. But I'm classically trained as a singer, a dancer, and an actor.
She's everything, guys.
Yeah.
Everything.
I went to school for all of that. So thank God for that. And at the end of the day, I don't know, there's a lot of people who started following me like really early on in my career. They know that I was on The Voice, Nigeria. But a lot of people don't know about that. Yeah.
I know RSL was on The Voice, but I didn't know you were also on The Voice.
Yeah, I was. And that's not what we're talking about. But the point is, like, I sing. And, just being an actor, I think, being a producer, rather, because your question was about producing. Before I started calling myself an actor, I used to call myself a performer because it just felt like encompassing of all of those things. But even before then, I used to call myself a performer. I used to call myself a creative genius. Yeah. I'm one of those people who calls myself a genius. You heard that? A creative genius, yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I used to write all these shows, right? Like, so for the longest time, in fact, I think when I'm doing the work of creating the world that I want to, the fantasy world that I want to engage in that seems real, I think that that's probably my best quality.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think a whole lot. It's not hard for me to create alternative worlds in my mind, right? So I like to I don't want to say produce. I like to create. So I'll write it. I'll act in it. If I have to, I'll make the costumes. Goddamn, I will do it.
Have you attempted that?
Yeah, I've made costumes for shows especially stage shows, you know. I'll light them, you know, I'll choreograph the routines on stage. I'll create the ad materials, which is where my digital communication degree comes in.
And she has 3 degrees. Don't forget that, guys. 3 degrees.
3, no masters, but 3.
Please, 3 is enough.
3 is enough. Yeah, so a lot of those skills really just like kind of, and you know, as far as like strategy, communication, right? You know, in terms of how all of this stuff goes out, how people are receptive. Like I also toy with the idea of like I understand colors and what they're supposed to make you feel. I understand, for instance, I remember when I used to create those theater shows back in the day. We used to create this whole like strategy around promoting the shows where we would take like snippets of the dance routines on stage. Then we would get a whole bus and put like 20 of us inside and tour all of the universities just dancing and say, this is why you need to come to the show. And while we're dancing, we have our posters up there that we've designed high up. We're selling tickets. If you buy 20, you know, you get a discount. Or if you buy early, you know, minus $5 or whatever. That's how we're able to fill up those seats. So by the end of it, we had people flying in from all over the states to come see the show. So that's why I say I'm a creator, because like I'm truly just involved and I love to be part of every single thing that goes into creating like a different world or creating an alternative like universe or whatever it is. So I enjoy everything. It would be disingenuous for me to say I prefer acting or I prefer producing or writing. It's like, how am I feeling today? What do we want to do? Okay, let's go do it.
Okay, so as a creative genius, what has been like your most validating moment in the whole experience from moving? I don't want to say one general answer. You can have like theater moment, but like from moving to Nigeria and like starting here, what has been the most validating moment for you? They're like, yes, I'm glad I took this step. I'm glad I'm doing this.
Man, there's so many.
That's good.
There's so many. Because I pay attention. But I was happy when I made my first #1 million off a project.
What did you
Actually, it was 1.5, actually.
Did you flex?
Not really. Like,
I don't even know how to use that word in a sentence. But
if there's anything I've always, like my mom, she had said, like, your lifestyle doesn't have to change because you have more money.
Please repeat that.
Your lifestyle doesn't have to change because you have more money. Yeah. And if there's one thing I'm not good at, is finance. I'll say that right now. I'm not very financially literate. So a lot of, you know, everything I've been learning about investments and all of that stuff has come with a lot of tears. And with a lot of loss.
Yeah.
There's one company I want to drag now, but God, I'll see you on Twitter.
That's the battlefield.
Exactly. I'll see you on Twitter, man. Like, you know, you invest, you know, you do all of this stuff. And I think just, you know, and I'm saying that not to say because I made more money, it validated me. Because honestly, I wish we didn't even need money in the world. I know this might sound like a very wild idea to people, but I wish we did not need money in the world. Because you can't tell me that somebody's entire value summed up to the numbers in their bank account. No. Look at me. I'm calling myself a creative genius, right? If you had to quantify and give me money for that, how much
exactly
would you give me? So who I am really is not tied to what I make and shouldn't be tied to, and that's why it breaks my heart when I hear trigger warning for everybody who's listening. I'm about to talk about suicide. This is the time for you to exit if you don't want to hear that. As I was saying, which is why it breaks my heart for when I see people who take their own lives because they weren't able to pay a bill. Or they weren't able to, you know, whatever. It's just wild. I mean, we're all here in this world, and collectively as a human race, we now decided that this is how we want to live. We could have all been in front of Ibiza drinking margaritas, bottomless margarita. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, life doesn't have to be structured this way. And I think this also speaks to like everything that I think in terms of like the usefulness of tradition sometimes, because some of those things are holding us back.
Yeah.
For instance, even as a country, because at the end of the day, what is tradition? What is institution? What is law? What are all these things?
I actually saw a tweet saying tradition is, I can't remember, like dead people's rules and regulation or something along that line.
Do you understand? Context is always changing. Why and how we do things is always changing. So as such, the rules, quote unquote, and I hate to say rules, but whatever is guiding us needs to evolve just as we are
with
evolving.
the time, exactly.
Yeah. So if something is not useful for us today, get rid of it. It is not enough for you to tell me the reason why we're doing this thing is because of tradition. No. If it's not useful, get rid of it. I know this is a pretty, like, niche thing to say. If there's tradition that's useful, applaud it, promote it. You understand? Mm-hmm. But when something doesn't, so that's why for me, in answering that question, I can't necessarily say it's when I made money. It wasn't because of the money in itself. What I'm alluding to, or what I'm talking about when I say I was happy when I made that, is because I felt like the world was finally catching up to me living in my purpose. Because for a long time I was doing it and nobody
was looking,
rewarded it. Nobody ever said, hey, I'm glad, So if by the way of the world, money and status is how we say you're doing something right and I got to, great. I'm happy. You understand? But does that mean that makes me who I am? No. I've been doing me even before this money came.
Yeah.
So whether it's here or not, one thing's for sure, I'll still do it. And pay me my money.
Because I was so close to asking, can you do a project for free?
Can I do a project for free? Like I said, it depends. What's the value add, right? Is it a role? Is it a story that I haven't done before? Who's doing it? Where is it ending up? If it's a great project and I haven't done it before, and maybe, again, I can't really speak to which projects I would do for free or not. For me, it's important that there is value exchange. And like I said, because in this world, money is the value. You have to exchange it, right? If it was something else, great. Because me having all of these thoughts does not mean that because I don't think we should behave or, do what we're doing with money, does not mean that my bills are like, oh, you don't like money. Hey, sorry, I beg. Let me go to another person that wants. No, at the end of the day, however I feel, I still have to pay for stuff, and if there's nothing I despise more than even getting my creative community to do any work for me for free. You understand? Again, because I know that these things are very real and it's how the world works. Great. Do I want something else? Would I prefer that it was a different way? Yes. So that for me is a valuable. Minus money, if there was anything that made me feel like I was really just in my person, like doing this work, it was just a very small moment when I remember when I had finished my 3rd degree, which was in performance art. I was about to do another degree. Oh yeah.
You heard
me. I wanted to get a master's in acting.
Oh.
And after that, I wanted to do a master's in directing for film, for screen, not stage. Because with that one, I kind of learned on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember just looking forward to it because at the time, even though I'd had all this experience and I'd put on shows and, I'd done all these amazing things, the show I put on became a culturally recognized event in the city that I lived in.
What's the show called?
Sync Afrique. Shout out to anybody who knows what Sync Afrique is. I know y'all rocked with me back then. What's good? Right? But for now, like, or at least then when I'd come out of the theater school and I was about to go into acting again because for some reason I felt imposter syndrome. I don't know why. It's still something I battle with up until
now?
Yes.
Again.
It's less, but It's not absent, that's for sure. I just sometimes, something about just going after this thing, like I said, you know how people refer to acting like you're chasing your dreams, as though you didn't have to show up to set, as though you didn't have to go and you're doing the work and they say you're chasing stars. No, it's not up in the clouds, it's here, it's right here. Like you, I'm waking up, I'm going to a set, I'm doing all these things, right? So, but for some reason, I just didn't think I was still good enough. And I had a 70-year-old, he was 70 at the time, and his name is Lubomir Matukik. And Lubomir was my acting coach. And he used to run one of the acting classes. And when we did our final presentation, where the agency I spoke about earlier came to watch, and then they had invited me to come and do another audition in their office, I was just talking to him about all of my experiences. And he was like, okay, so Nengi, what's next for you? I was like, well, there's this agency, but, I don't know if I'm going to get it. But, I really feel like, because now I'm so sure this is what I want to do with my life, I want to go and get a degree in acting and all this stuff. And he looks at me, he's like, what are you saying? He's like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? I'm going to go to school. And he's like, did you see what just happened in there? I was like, what? He's like, when you went on stage and you played that African woman, he said, there are moments where the audience seemed to really connect with you. And they weren't laughing or responding with you, to you because you were funny or because you were trying to make them laugh, right? He said they only responded to you because of the truth of what you were playing in that moment. And he says, there's some things as your coach I can teach, and as an acting coach I can teach. But what you did, that is something that you cannot teach. You're fine. You don't need another degree.
Wow.
Go and act.
Thank you, Lubomir.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Lubomir.
Thank
yeah.
you.
He's my friend now. Like, I remember last time I went to Toronto, we just went out, like, eating sushi and drinking. Like, he's much older now. He's so sweet. Like, and he's still acting. That's the funny thing.
Wow.
He resigned. He's no longer a teacher, but, he's still like an actor in Toronto. But it was that moment where, and even now, when I feel like I'm not supposed to be here, or, maybe I'm not doing well enough, or, because sometimes some of the negative comments get to you, where, like, you're reading something and maybe you've put your all, you've really put your heart, and for some reason, somebody just doesn't like it. It can really make you feel small in those moments, because you're like, yeah, I don't know you, but, like, I really wanted to, like, show you this thing that no, you don't like it. Some people even go as far as saying that you don't even know how to act.
How do you react to that? Like, what do you even say?
What can you say?
Exactly.
Right? And unfortunately, there are times when earlier on in my career, those things really used to affect me. I was like, man, they're right. Maybe I should have continued in tech, because I was good at that as well. Right? But what Lubomir said to me, and I think this is why it's important, if you even have, like, just, it's not just creative children, right? Like, just anybody who's trying to do anything. Like, what you say really matters. Really, really matters. So even up until now, 31-year-old me still goes back to that moment where Lubomir was talking to 23-year-old me. I have to remember that. And then say, I'm meant to be here.
Yeah.
And keep going.
I feel this ties into, like, because I feel we're about to wrap this up. And this ties into what I'm going to ask, like, the final question. Like, what would you say to, I'm hoping, like, an upcoming, I don't like the word upcoming, but, like, a new actor.
Me,
someone new in the scene.
If you're acting, you're acting.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll say someone new in the scene, someone who wants to do this.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to them?
There's a lot.
I feel you can condense it into maybe like 3 statements.
It's not even about condensing it. Like, I don't like to show up as someone who's giving advice.
No, not in that sense. But like just maybe you're their own Lubomir. Like you're their own Lubomir, because we all need, whether we like it or not, we all need to hear reaffirming statements like, okay, I'm on the right path. Okay, I'm doing this thing.
Yes. No. maybe like first off, you just have to ask yourself, is this something you really want to do? This is not so that you can be unsure. This is just so that you can be honest.
Yeah.
Because the moment you say yes, right? Just go and do it. Just go and do it. You don't need permission. You don't need a stage. You don't need a screen. Just act. Act in your house. Act in front of one person. Find other actors. What are they doing? Learn something new. Are you acting every day? Is this what you want to do? If the answer is yes, I swear, you don't need permission. Just start doing it. And keep doing it. And that's all.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how to wrap this up, but I'll just say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was so amazing. So thank you so much for being here, Nengi.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And go forth and continue slandering Amala.
We're not ending on that note.
I just had to bring that back. But honestly, though, keep shining.
Thank you.
Because you're doing so well and you're living such a very eventful life.
Thanks.
So
yes.
Well done. And
yes.
Keep it up.
We'll keep going.
Hashtag we are watching you.
We're watching you. And please,
we're watching you.
Hey, but even that my last note, if you want to cry. That's part of living life. If you want to live. So for me, it's just showing up. How do you show up every day? So thank you for affirming my path. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to everyone. Please watch Mostose Girl if you haven't. Watch Enahe as well. Shows, so we've already mentioned all of that. Follow me, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all the same thing. The Nangers. And keep up. Keep up. Thank you for listening, guys. 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 Thank you for listening, guys.